All right, let's talk about the single most unpredictable, often chaotic part of any project, the people. Today, we're going to build a really practical guide to take that messy human landscape and turn it into a clear, strategic map that you can actually use. You know that feeling, right? You kick off a project and bam! Suddenly, you're being pulled in a million different directions. Your boss wants one thing, the client wants another, finance is worried about the budget, and the end users have their own list of demands. It is classic project chaos. But what if I told you there's a systematic way to just cut right through all that noise, a way to turn all that chaos into genuine clarity, to get your focus back, and to build a real strategy, a way to take back control? And let's be real, the stakes are incredibly high. It just takes one bad stakeholder, one person with a ton of power and a totally conflicting agenda, to completely sink months or even years of hard work. That's exactly why you need a system to spot them and manage them before they become a problem.
So, how do we find that clarity? Well, we start with a fantastic tool called the Power/Interest Map. Now, don't let the name fool you. This isn't just another business chart. Think of it as your strategic map for navigating the complex web of people involved in your work.
At its core, stakeholder analysis is a pretty simple process. First, you just figure out who's even involved. Then, you step back and assess how much they care and how much power they really have. And finally, you group them based on that assessment. It's all about bringing some order to that long, overwhelming list of names.
Now, to build our map, we really only need to understand two key ingredients. It all boils down to two simple questions for every single person involved. First, how much can they affect your project? And second, how much does your project affect them? That's it. That's the entire foundation of this whole strategy.
And this is the Power/Interest Grid. For a lot of people, the moment they start plotting stakeholders on this simple 2x2 grid is the aha moment, where everything just clicks. It literally transforms that messy list of names into a clear, visual plan of action. And what's great is the grid immediately gives us 4 clear strategies. Got someone with high power and high interest? Those are your key players. You manage them closely. High power but low interest? Your job is to keep them satisfied, but don't bury them in details. Low power, high interest? Keep them informed. These people can become your biggest champions. And finally, low power, low interest? You just monitor them and focus your energy where it really counts.
So the grid gives us the what, the strategy. But how do we actually build it? Okay, let's break it down into a super simple 4-step guide you can apply to pretty much any project starting today. That first step, identification, can feel a little tough. Where do I even start? So here's a fantastic pro tip, the 9 C's framework. It's an awesome brainstorming tool. You just run through a checklist and ask, who are the commissioners, the ones controlling the money? Who are the customers, the collaborators? You even think about competitors. This simple check ensures nobody critical slips through the cracks. And here's the whole workflow in a nutshell. First, you identify everyone with a stake in the game. Second, you analyze their power and their interest. Third, you prioritize them by placing them on the grid. And finally, you engage them with a plan that's tailored specifically to them. Identify, analyze, prioritize, engage. That's the whole process.
Okay, so you've done the work. You've built this beautiful strategic map. But we have to remember something really important. The map is not the destination. The whole point of this analysis is to turn it into action, to turn a static piece of paper into real movement that actually drives your project forward. And trust me, the payoff for doing this work upfront is huge. You secure buy-in from day one. You start to anticipate risks before they blow up in your face. You get to focus your limited time and energy on the people who actually matter the most. This is how you build real, lasting support and make sure your project actually succeeds.
But there's one last, absolutely crucial piece to this puzzle. Your map is a living document, because this is definitely not a one-and-done exercise.
So once you've made your map, you're all done, right? Nope, not even close. The human landscape of any project is constantly shifting and changing, which means your map has to shift right along with it.
You have to treat your stakeholder analysis as a living, breathing document. It is not some static report you create, file away, and then forget about. It's a dynamic tool that has to evolve right alongside your project.
And why does it change? Well, things happen. People get promotions. That low-power stakeholder you were just monitoring today might get a new title and become a high-power decision-maker tomorrow. Project priorities shift, new people show up, and interest levels can rise or fall. Your map has to reflect that reality.
Ultimately, that's what this entire process gives you, a strategic map of the human terrain. You know all the players, you get their motivations, and you can anticipate their influence. You've brought order to the chaos. You've essentially set up the entire game board.
So now you have the map. You understand the players. You are in control. The only question left is, are you ready to make your move?